Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through my tips for the round 22, as well as reflecting on my tips for round 21 and how well I did. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the video. So as you can see here, top 1% of the round with an 8 out of 9, again jumping up a load of ranks. And yeah, I guess I just got those, I got every result except for the Collingwood result right, which was really good, as a lot of people I think picked GWS. Some people would have picked potentially Richmond. Eagles wouldn't have been picked by many. Gold Coast wouldn't have been picked by many, I don't think. Port Adelaide potentially would have been picked as well by a lot of people. I think that was one of the games. St Kilda against Carlton, I think a lot of people went for Carlton as well, and I think most people would have gone Brisbane still away from home. It is sort of the away from home winners that can easily gain you a lot of ranks, or just at home game against a top of the table like this was this game. So we'll go through just quickly here. Western Bulldogs I had by 19, as you can see here, actual margin 55, so I was 36 points off. You will see this is a bad round for me, as there was a couple of, the West Coast game was close, as well as Collingwood losing by a margin inflates the margin that I actually have. And so Essendon winning by a singular point, so I was 41 off there. Still got it right. I mean, Essendon played horrifically, but still got the win. Adelaide against Gold Coast. I picked Adelaide by 22 and they won by 28, so another really good pick there. So I was 6 points off there. Hawthorn winning by 32. I was 75 points off there. And that might be almost the worst pick of the year. I thought this was almost a certainty Collingwood win, but we're going to have to reflect on the Collingwood games now and see if they're actually going to win them. As I don't think they're a certainty now, and they've lost 2 on the trot. They've got injury concerns. They're playing Geelong, I believe, this week or something, and that could be a flip of a coin almost. Geelong against Port, I said by 13, they won by 12, so it was a singular point off there. I guess my 720 and 730, these two were the best picks of the round, honestly. Swans against the Giants, I said the Swans by 8 and they won by 11, so I was 3 points off there. So to be 4 points off for both of those games in what you could almost class as upset games. I mean, I think the Swans were the betting favourites, but GWS were the tippers' favourites, I believe. So, and I believe the same can be said about the Geelong Port game. So it was just good to get those two games right. Melbourne, I said by 46. They won by 32 in the end. So that's a 14-point gap, which looked bad at halftime. I mean, I think Melbourne outscored North Melbourne by 51 to 15 in the second half. I think it was 52-56 to North at half. So I believe that's 51 to 15. Which imploded the margin. Then you have Carlton against St Kilda. I said Carlton by 30. They ended up winning by, 19 points. So 11 points off there. Again, just my late Saturday and Sunday results going pretty well. And then Brisbane sort of struggling against Freo, but getting the job done by 3 points. I was 20 points off there. So if you look at the Saturday night and Sunday fixtures, I was 4, 18... 29, 49 points off in 5 fixtures, so that's under 10 points a game that I was off, and got all the tips right in these last 5 games. It was just the Western Bulldogs I was off by 36, Essendon 41, and Collingwood by 75 in my incorrect tip. That really just blew the round for me, but I mean, top 1% for getting 8 out of 9 tips. And, I mean, it would have been nice to get the margin a little bit better in the first game of the round. But moving on to round 22, and we have Collingwood Geelong. Collingwood have at least Dacos out. Murphy looks like he'll be returning, or at least playing on, but he could easily do an ankle again or something like that. Geelong have basically no one at this point. Do I think Geelong's going to overpower Collingwood? Do I think that's cracked in the armour? Yes. Do I think Collingwood's going to lose? I think this one's going to be an absolute classic of a game. I think this could go either way. I am going to pick Geelong because I think Geelong, they know they basically have to win each game to get into finals at this point. They win their last 3, they get to 54. They're they're guaranteed it. The way that this is flipping around on its head, all these results, 54 will get you in. 10 points will get you in, as it means that none of these guys here can chase you, and there's only there's 3 spots available, and I don't think 3 teams are going to beat. You just have to beat out one of these teams. And Geelong, I'm going to say Geelong by 9 points. This could easily flip on its head, and obviously Collingwood could easily win that game, but I'm picking Geelong. North Melbourne against Essendon. I'm going to pick Essendon. I do think that Essendon had a shock against West Coast, but I think North are in a slightly worse position than West Coast are at the moment. But I do think that Essendon will respond a little bit more, so I'm going to say Essendon by 24 points. They could easily blow this out and win by 60, but I'm just more mindful of the fact that they could easily win this by about 5 or 10 just with the way that they're playing at the moment. Sydney against Gold Coast. I think Sydney are going to win. Yes, you will have Miller back, but they did lose Will Powell for the season, which is huge for the Swans, as it means that their forward line is going to do a little bit better. They will have to be mindful of Mac Andrew intercept-wise, so you might see just Logan McDonald, sorry, I don't know what I was saying there. Logan McDonald, keep a close eye on him, or just try and negate his intercepting, as that could be a way to get sort of how they've done with Ben King. That could be a way of helping the Logan McDonald get back into form, as he has been a little bit off of it. So I'm going to say the Swans by 29 points. Brisbane against Adelaide, another really good game here, and I think this will I don't think it will definitely kill off their season, but I think it could easily kill off Adelaide's season, this game here, knowing that they can only get to 48 points, and I don't think 48 is going to be enough in this year. So I think Brisbane win this game, as Brisbane look and hunt for that, top 2 spot. If they can make up the percentage to Melbourne, they could get a top spot or a top 2 spot here. I don't think they can obviously make up the ground to Collingwood to get that minor premiership and that number 1 spot, but I think they can easily get that number 2 spot. So I think you see Brisbane win this game by 24 points. I think it will be a little bit closer, but I think they can easily win this game. Then you have Carlton against Melbourne. Melbourne will be interesting with their new makeshift forward line again, with Petty out. I think they only have another game or 2 with Fritsch out, which should make it interesting, but you do have Oliver back, which could, and I think Oliver is much better than Jordan or Rivers or whoever was making that 4th midfield spot. So I think I'm going to go with Melbourne, even with an Oliver coming back at 90%. I do think that Carlton, if Curnow doesn't kick 3 or 4 goals, it's really hard for Carlton to, Carlton do have the smalls of Motlop and stuff like that are kicking a lot of goals, but they do sort of rely on 2 or 3 guys to, at the moment, kick. It's sort of, it's Motlop and someone else that, as well as Curnow, that are kicking all the goals for them. So I think it is going to be a struggle, and I don't think Cripps is going to have much of an impact. I don't think Hewitt. So I think that Petrarca and Oliver coming back, I think you will see a little bit of a jump here, and I think you will just see Melbourne's guys, those sort of more experienced guys like Gorn, even Grundy coming back playing as well in this crucial game. With a lot of experience, you'll have Petrarca, Oliver, Viney. I think they'll play their strong midfield in the midfield to win this game, because they're hunting for that top spot almost at this point, and top 2. So I think Melbourne's going to win in a really, really good game by 12 points. Then you've got West Coast Fremantle. Fremantle is going to win this, even though I think it's actually going to be a really tight game. I don't think Fremantle is going to blow them out, but I'm going to say Freo by 15 points. I think West Coast, it's one of their last couple games. They've got a couple of guys retiring that I don't know necessarily if Shuey is playing this game, as I believe the press conference said he wasn't. You've got Shannon Hearn, potentially, is it his last home game? We'll with, we'll see West Coast. Where West Coast, Williams, no, they have round 24, their last home game. But this is the last derby for those guys, etc. So I think we will see West Coast put up a really good performance, but it will fall short by 15. Hawthorn against Western Bulldogs. I think Western Bulldogs win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn does actually win this game, as they've actually been really good package, and I think Hawthorn are going to be my big climbers next year with the way that they're going, as they just look really good, and they look like with an inclusion of a couple of more experienced guys, I guess, just in the whole big squad, not necessarily best 22, and a couple of good youngsters potentially in the draft, they could go up a lot. But I'm going to pick Western Bulldogs by, I think, 19 points, but I wouldn't be surprised if Hawthorn get a win. St Kilda against Richmond. St Kilda against Richmond. Is it St Kilda? I think St Kilda are going to respond against Richmond, as they're fighting for finals, and I think this will basically kill off Richmond's season. And I think St Kilda need to respond. I think Steele and Crouch after that fourth quarter need to. I think they've got enough to, I guess, prove in this last game that St Kilda need to win this game. If they do win this game, St Kilda, I'm pretty sure they pretty much get into finals. Or wait, no, that's not right. But they hold their position and they'll jump up to, I think, 6th. But yeah, I think St Kilda will win this game by 13 points. And then you've got GWS Port, and Port have a lot of I guess illnesses, etc. around the camp, as well as the fact that GWS are one of the form teams in the comp, even though they just lost to the Swans. And Port have lost 4 straight. I really want Port to win, but I think there is a chance that GWS win this. But also you got the fact that GWS have 2 guys suspended as well. Bedford, who's been huge for them. And I think Port will have some guys returning from illness that missed the last game. So I'm going to go Port Adelaide to win this by 8 points. So a lot of actually close games, and could be interesting, but we'll wait and see on that one. So let me just submit my tips. Then I'll go over here. And that is basically the video. So that's the video, and I'll see you guys in my team AFL Fantasy team preview for round 22. Thanks, guys. Goodbye.